Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents A Holly Hills Christmas Box Set, Books 1 through 3, by C.M. Steele, narrated by Cassandra Myles and E.N. Coulson. Holidays Cookies. Chapter 1. Holiday. It's the perfect weather to start baking. But then again, it's always perfect up north where the snow starts just before October and continues until early spring. I love it here, and I can't wait for Christmas to come. I stretch while getting into my favorite yoga pose early in the morning. The sun isn't up and won't be for another 2 hours, but I have to get a move on soon or I won't be able to open on time. One more good stretch with a sun salutation, and then a deep breath before wrapping up and hitting the shower. It's going to be a long day, but I'll finally get to put up my Christmas decorations. I'm practically giddy with excitement at the prospect of doing it. If I could leave them up all year without looking like an absolute weirdo, I would. But then again, I love other holidays too. I suppose my name is quite fitting, Holiday Belle. My parents thought it was adorable, and so does everyone that meets me. My bubbly personality and blonde curls don't help with the cuteness overload either, but I don't mind, since I love the business it brings to the bakery. I have cookies for every holiday, but my favorite are Christmas cookies. We have so many to choose from, and the lines never seem to end as everyone waits for my goodies. I'm nearly out the door when I see a car pull up next door. The house has been for sale for about 3 months. Most people don't want to buy it because it belonged to a grumpy old man who hated everyone in town. His granddaughter is a total sweetheart, and she spent a great deal of effort getting the house ready for sale. After grabbing my things, including my snow brush from the front door, I walk out and make it to my car in time to see the realtor putting up a sticker on the old Manchester property. I can't help but smile. Today is going to be a fabulous day. "Hi, Mr. Sanders. How's it going?" I asked him as I removed the last night's snowfall off my car. He smiles widely.
"Great, pretty lady. Aren't you ever going to call me Andrew?"
"Sorry. You are my former math teacher, force of habit," I say with a shrug.
"You're all grown up now,"
he says in a way that's too intimate for my liking, and the reason I've always kept the formality. Smiling politely, I create a greater distance between us, tuck my snow brush in my back seat, and open my driver's side door. "That I am, and I'm running late to my business. Excuse me."
"I can't wait to get some of your delicious cookies."
Goodness. Something tells me he's not talking about my baked food. I pull out of the driveway in a slight rush and completely forget to ask about the new neighbor. It's not worth it at this point. The small family will probably be here within the next week or 2. My shop isn't far from home, so I arrive in 15 minutes and park in the back. I have 4 employees, and we're only open from 7 to 6 Monday through Saturday. I'm the first to get in and unlock the back entrance. Turning on the kitchen lights, it's nice to see a clean shop. We have a lot to bake today. 25 dozen chocolate cookies for special orders are up first. Then, we have to fill the slots full of gingerbread cookies, iced cookies, almond cookies, and several varieties of brownies in Christmas shapes. Turning on the ovens and the machines, I pull out my things and get to work. My team will be here within the next half hour, so we'll be in full swing soon. The next thing to get flipped on is the Christmas music. Dancing around the room, I mix my ingredients and enjoy my morning. "Someone's chipper," Bethany says. Shimmying my shoulders, I grin and say, "Yep, Christmas is coming, business is doing well, and the place next to me has finally sold." She jumps up and down, nearly dropping her bag on the floor. "Oh, that's great news. Celeste's probably doing cartwheels." "Well, not in her condition," I say. Celeste just found out she's pregnant and is really starting to show with her twins. "No, definitely not in her condition, but she could use the money from the sale." The house was left to her, since she's the only one left in her family, which made her quite sad. They never got to know each other. Absolutely. Girl, any news on who the baby daddy is? No. Unfortunately, it was one of those drunken one-night stand things after her grandfather died. Or at least that's what she said. Do you think there's more to her story? I don't know, but she's not that kind of girl. You never know. Maybe he's fine as hell. I know I might fall into a hot guy's arms if I was drunk and sad. True. Well, we don't have time to think about it. Let's get to baking, girl. Let's do this. So, where's Glenn? Right here. He comes in with his gear on. I'm ready to get this baking on. My wife is ready for an entire house full of treats for her kitchen when her family stops by next week, so I need to get some each day. Oh, goodness. Your house is going to be overflowing again. Tell me about it. But maybe it will keep my mother-in-law's mouth so stuffed she'll be quiet. We laugh and get to work. She can be a real pain in the neck. Glenn and his wife have been married for nearly 20 years, and she's still telling him how to do things as a married couple. So guess what, Glenn? The Manchester place is finally sold. I'm equally excited and nervous about getting new neighbors. I know. My wife told me this morning. What? How did she find out? That's what took me so long. Sheila saw Sanders on the way there while she was grabbing the newspaper. Oh yeah, you're his neighbor, right? Totally forgot, I say. He's one neighbor I'm glad doesn't live next door. If he did, I'd sell and move upstairs in the apartment above the bakery. Right now, it's used for storage and a temporary bed when it gets too crazy and driving through a blizzard seems too much to handle. The oven's preheat setting goes off, letting me know it's ready. Time to get these in the oven. I got them. Glenn grabs the trays while I open the doors, and we load the first 2 batches of cookies into the oven. We work like a well-oiled machine, and by the time the doors open for business, we're ready with fresh-baked goods and hot drinks. My morning and afternoon pass by in a blur. I grab the marker from my dry erase calendar on the wall and swipe another day off. We have 2 weeks until Christmas. A smile spreads across my face. A clicking sound comes from the side, and I turn to see Bethany standing there with her phone. What? You should see your face. So cute. I smile, and she snaps another. Quit it. I swat at her from a distance, missing her by a mile. But it did stop her, and she tucks her camera away. These are going up in the shop. You could be a model. Seriously, gorgeous. Maybe we can find you a husband. I roll my eyes and pout, because she's no better than I am. At least I have the excuse of being the owner of the bakery. She chooses to hang around and come back after her shift and classes end. I'm not looking for one. Stop lying. She's right. I want a husband and a family to share the holidays with, but I haven't found the right guy. Still, I won't admit it. Now go home and get ready, because I'm sure there's a team of people waiting to help you set up your decorations. So many people have been waiting for me to get my decorations up. I'm one of the last individuals, and I've been sad. Work has left me so busy that I haven't had a chance. I'm leaving now. Are you sure you have it all for tomorrow? Absolutely. Now go. I rush out the door and into my car. And just like Beth says, the second I get home, I have several of the town's most eligible men there to help. I feel guilty using them for their brawn when I've turned them all down for dates, some as most recently as today. Thanks, fellas, but I totally got this. We know you do, Holiday, but why not have help? Heath asks, giving me a smirk. I feel like a jerk after they've all taken time out of their day to come here, and maybe their motives are just to be nice. I can't assume everyone wants me to go out with them. Okay. So, are you going to the Christmas party? Sanders asks. No. They all know I hate these things, but they insist. I have someone drop off the desserts and leave before the party even starts. Why not? Heath asks. I don't want to go. You're the prettiest girl in town. You have to go. Thanks. Maybe I'll consider it. He smiles, gives me a wink, and then gets back to work. I close my eyes because, yes, he's handsome and 24, but he's not ready to grow up. I'm only 23, but I bought the old bakery from Mrs. Green 4 years ago with the remainder of my parents' life insurance money and my savings from working 2 jobs. One of my jobs had included working at the bakery with Mrs. Green. So I need someone with ambition, with plans to keep us afloat, even if he isn't wealthy. My father was a screw-up. The only smart thing he ever did was get life insurance. So when they went out to a party and got into a car accident, I wasn't left completely hopeless. We get it all done in 3 hours, and my house looks like Christmas threw up all over. It's beautiful. 4 trees decorated in my home, as well as my entire porch.
Chapter 2. James. Snow comes cascading in billowy puffs as I drive toward my new cottage from my home in the city. According to my GPS, it's only another 10 minutes to my destination, which is a breath of fresh air after sitting for 2 hours in traffic. I take the exit off the expressway leading into Holly Hills, and I'm immediately greeted with holiday lights and wreaths every few feet. How the hell did I end up in Christmastown, USA? I could kill my assistant as I drive through the throng of children with their parents, playing in the freshly fallen snow as they cross the street like this isn't the main road. I scrub my hand over my face as they cross the street in slow fucking motion. A couple of the women wave at me, and I politely give a short wrist flick wave, even though I'd rather not draw any attention to myself. I press the video call button, dialing her number. "Sarah, what were you thinking?" "You wanted a quiet place away from the city." "Quiet? This is like I stepped into the North Pole in full swing." I flip on my camera and turn my phone around so she can see the bullshit she got me in. "Aw, that's so beautiful," she gushes. "Damn it, I didn't ask for beauty, I asked for privacy." I turn off the camera and anchor the phone back on its stand as the crowds finally move and I can drive by. "That's what the cottage you bought said you'd get. You're just passing through town, right?" "Yes," I grumble. "You should go to the place and relax. Leave the happy townspeople to their own devices, and you can be grumpy all by yourself." "Fine. I want you to find another place tomorrow. I have to finish this book by the new year." "Most people take the Christmas holiday off." "I'm not most people." "Why would I take it off? I don't have any family. All of my friends are married, including Brett, who married my assistant. The damn jerk took her away from her duties for too long." "Well, on that note, I have more Christmas shopping to do, so enjoy your getaway. Who knows, you might actually meet someone." She ends the call, and I want to fire her, but I know I can't, because I'd be completely useless without her. I pull up to the house, which is larger than I expected. There's a home next door to me, another unexpected sight. It's not as large, but it's well kept and fully decorated for Christmas. I roll my eyes because that probably means there's a house full of kids living there that would be making noise all day while I'm trying to work. I don't need the sounds of laughter and fighting in the snow before the tears come and disrupt my busy schedule. It's the reason I left the overly crowded city. The noise can be deafening. I quickly usher myself inside before someone sees me and stops to say hello. It's almost 4 o'clock, and I'm sure they'll all be rushing home from work. With the sun setting at 4, it's almost completely pitch black in the house, so I reach for the light switch next to the door and illuminate the entire living room area. The place is well furnished, as advertised, which I'm pleased about. The home has been remodeled to a more modern feel, with whites and grays lining all the walls and trim, although my biggest interest is the office. It had been one hell of a selling point, and the reason I agreed with Sarah to make the purchase. I slid my computer bag off my shoulder and set it on the nice mahogany desk. As long as it's quiet and I'm left alone, I'll be able to knock out my book by the deadline. It's almost 6 when the doorbell rings. Fury simmers in my bones because there shouldn't be a soul coming to my door. I'd only just gotten situated, comfortable with a hot cup of coffee and my notes. It rings again, and I'm seething. Standing up, I throw open the front door and find a young man waiting with bags in his hands. "What the hell do you want?" "I have your special grocery delivery for you, Mr. Snow." "Thank you. Next time, just leave them at the door as requested on the order." "Sorry, sir." He sets them down at my feet and rushes down the stairs to his vehicle. I take them inside and refuse to feel guilty about people who can't follow simple instructions. After putting them away, I return to my coffee, which is now lukewarm and disgusting, so I toss it out and pour a fresh cup. I'm just getting to typing when the damn bell rings again. It's the realtor this time. Fuck. I expected this asshole to come, but that doesn't mean I want him here. I shoot Sarah a message. Find me a new place.
Chapter 3. Holiday. "Who are those for?" Bethany says, staring at the wrapped box of cookies. I hoped I could get away unnoticed before I closed up for the day, but she was always watching. "These are for my new neighbor. I wanted to welcome him to the area. He arrived yesterday, and I didn't want to bother him because he had only just arrived. I wouldn't do that if I were you," she warns me, shaking her head. Does he have a jealous wife that's going to lose it or something? Why not? Grant says he's a real piece of work who prefers to be left alone. Yesterday, he had his groceries delivered and barked at the kid just to leave them at the door. Oh, goodness. I can't believe that's my new neighbor. He can't be just like old Mr. Manchester. Still, I have to be friendly. Oh my, I'll just drop the cookies off and not bother him. It's almost Christmas time, and I can't help myself. I know. You have a heart of gold and sugar. She rolls her eyes and shakes her head. I leave my bakery and pop in my car with my baked cookies. On the short drive, I grow more and more nervous about dropping these off. Maybe I should just keep them at home, or wait until I see him outside. I park in my garage and then close the door. Once I've gotten everything out of my car and into the house to work on my latest creation, I grab the cookies and head over to my neighbor's door. Gathering my nerve, I ring his doorbell. Accidentally, my finger slips, and I hit it more than once. Oops. Not the nicest way to greet your new neighbor. A snarling, annoyed, "What the fuck?" comes from the other side with hurried steps. "I didn't order anything today," he says, before opening the door. "I just wanted to drop off some cookies as a welcome gift." He opens the door, and I'm shocked to see the man before me in nothing but a towel around his waist, water dripping down his toned chest. No one mentioned that the surly neighbor was hot and extremely built. I can't stop gawking at his impressive thighs through the towel, and so much more. My eyes don't move from the large nether region that the frigid temperature has no effect on. Instinctively, I mouth a wow, which I immediately regret. "Thank you. Goodbye." I dart my head up just as he takes the cookies and closes the door on me. "Oh my God, what in the world is wrong with me?" I mutter, dashing down his porch in quick-like fashion. Needing to return to my house and never show my face again, I lock the door and hide away. I can't believe I stood there like a simpering fool, staring right at his penis like it would pop out of the towel at any second. He must think I'm some horny pervert just trying to jump his bones. I hide away for the rest of the night, forgetting all about trying a new recipe because I'm so mortified.
Chapter 4. James. The second the door closes, I set the cookies by the door and run up to my room to put some clothes on before I do something stupid, like take my dick in hand and stroke the fucker. Who the hell was that little blonde flirt with her eyes on my towel like they were glued there? Peeking out the front window, I look at the neighbor's house next door, and I doubt it's her home because no one's there. All the lights are still off, The nearest neighbors are about half a mile up the road, so I just drop the matter because I'll find her soon. There's no way I'm driving up there to knock at the 5 other houses and confront them and ask if one of their wives or daughters was around. My cock is getting hard again just thinking about running into her again. Her beautiful blue eyes were wide with shock and embarrassment. Her cheeks, pink from the cold, were round and adorable. I should have dragged her inside and gave her a better look. I'm almost jealous of my cock because I barely got a glimpse of her gorgeous face, and he got all the damn attention. Yes, I suppose the fact that I opened the door with my cock and balls practically on display in the middle of winter might draw anyone's attention, but that was intense. By the time I got dressed, I finally go back to the front door and look at the cookie box. She didn't bother to bake them. They're from a shop in town called Holiday's Cookies. How original, I mutter. Still, they smell fantastic. I wonder if the pretty little pervert smells just as good. Probably not, but I'm itching to find out. Maybe I'll make her pay for seeing me nearly naked and demand to stare at her pretty kitty. The timer on my phone goes off, reminding me to get back to work. Snatching up my cookies, I head off to write. Opening up the box, I take a long whiff. And they're potent, so I take a bite of one of the heavenly cookies. The first one goes down so fast that I don't realize that I've managed to eat half the box. By the end of the night, I only have one thought in my head: to find my little pervert. And that's going to happen by heading to this bake shop. Hopefully they'll know who I'm talking about. Then I'm going to take her home and spank her ass for making me break my routine and diet. Shit, I'm going to need a run and some push-ups after all these cookies. My mind goes to the cute blonde, and I wonder where she came from. I look outside, and the lights next door are still not on, so I'm assuming that family must be out of town. That's good for me, because I haven't heard anyone making noise while I work, except for all the damn doorbell ringing. I go back to writing, but all I can think about is finding my little cookie surprise and giving her a proper greeting. Fuck, I've never been so horny and angry in my life. I have only so many days to write, and I'm still struggling. How the fuck am I supposed to write the rest of this novel when all I can think about is how I want to fuck, and fuck hard? Maybe I can channel that anger. It works, and I spend the next 4 hours writing until my eyes get too blurry to stay awake. Shutting down my computer, I head to the bedroom and let my fatigue take me to sleep, or at least try. But those gorgeous blue eyes come to mind. Before I know it, I find my hand in my sleep pants, pulling out my length and fucking my hand. After I clean myself up, I finally close my eyes and let today slip away.
Chapter 5. Holiday. I wake up at 4 to get to the bakery on time for the rush. Waking up is more like an exaggeration, because I never went to sleep. In fact, I tossed and turned, did yoga, baked the new recipe, taste-tested half of them, wrote an apology, and then made little hearts around the letter, so I tossed it out. Seriously, I'm running on nothing but coffee and utter embarrassment this morning. What does he think of me? Thankfully, the neighbor probably kept normal hours and tried to avoid the crazy girl next door who was salivating over his naked form. God, he's got to think I'm some horny slut ready to pounce, which couldn't be further from the truth. Well, not completely. Only the slut part could be taken away. I've never gone all the way with a guy before, but for him, I'd make the exception. When I pull up, of course I'm the first one here, but it won't be too long before they all arrive. So I start my routine and get everything together. I move around without saying a word, dashing from one oven to the other and then to the cooling racks repeatedly all morning. I didn't even notice when the team came in. Bethany stares at me, as I pull the next round of cookies from the oven and set them on the rack. I turn around to set the oven mitts down when she stops in front of me so I can't move. "What is up with you?" she asks. "What do you mean?" I reply, looking at her with surprise. "You're frantic today." "I don't know what you mean. We're busy." "Did that asshole give you a hard time when you dropped off his cookies?" The word hard pounds in my brain. He was getting hard, all right. "No, I dropped off the cookies. I didn't sleep well," I confess. "You are a terrible liar. What happened? I can go beat down his door and kick him in the nuts." A sudden rush of jealousy shoots up through my chest. What if he's not dressed when she comes to the door and he lets her in? Oh God, don't do that. I dropped off the cookies, and I must have interrupted his shower. He was in just a towel. I turn my head around and slam it down on the counter, avoiding the obvious jokes. I spent the entire night thinking about how mortified I was and what he must think of me. "It's not that big of a deal. He wouldn't have answered the door if he didn't want you to see it," she says. "It's worse. I couldn't stop staring, so he slammed the door in my face." Bethany laughs so hard that I swat her. "What's so funny? You were staring at his face or something else?" she says with a laugh stuck in her throat. "The something else," I answer, and then throw my head back on the steel counter. "You better bake some extra cookies to apologize. Is he at least good-looking?" she asks. "That would be an understatement. Hotter than these ovens." She laughs so hard. The door chime rings behind us, saving me for the moment. "Customers, but this conversation isn't over." She steps out front while I finish sliding the cooled cookies off the sheet and into the display holder. Once they're neatly done, I push the door to the storefront open to stock the display cases. Except standing in line is none other than the new grump neighbor, fully clothed, and he's still so sexy. He smiles and then winks. I blush instantly. "Let me get these before you drop them," Bethany says, taking them from my hands. "Go handle Myles." I walk up to the cash register and ask, "What can I get you this morning?"
"A brownie. And a date to the Christmas party at the center,"
Myles answers. I'm about to tell him no for the 20th time this month, because I never go with anyone.
"Take the brownie and move on,"
that deep voice rumbles. He moves to stand in front of Myles and won't take his eyes off me. His large frame is bigger than I remember, and his eyes are brighter green and brown, making a perfect hazel like a pistachio. "Hello. You must be our newest resident," Bethany says, interrupting the stare-down between us.
"Yes, James Snow."
He brings his attention back to me.
"When do you get off?"
"I was ordering," Myles complains, dipping his head around the counter, but he's no match for the size of James and has to step back or he'll fall. Bethany grabs a brownie and packs it. "Here you go, on the house." She shoves it at Myles. "Have a good day, Myles." She leans on the counter next to me with her hands on her elbows and stares at James. With a big old grin, she asks, "Do you have a brother, cousin, or maybe an equally hot friend?" He ignores her.
"You didn't answer my question."
7, Bethany answers for me.
"I'll be back."
He wags his finger to tell me to move closer. Unable to resist the pull, I lean over the counter slightly, and then he leans in. He cups the back of my head, and his mouth is on mine in the briefest kiss. In a low whisper against my cheek, he says,
"Don't say yes to anyone, or I'll have to break their legs. See you later, my beautiful little pervert."
Can you come from words and just a peck? He leaves without another word. Bethany pulls me into the back room. "Give us a minute." As soon as we enter the kitchen, she says, "Girl, what just happened?" "I don't know. I think you just got claimed." "Maybe he really liked the cookies," I say.
"Holiday, dear, those aren't the cookies he wants,"
Glenn says. "Glenn, you're a dirty old man."
"I've been married a long time. That man wants your cookie served up to him to eat, and he's single.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?